Hi, welcome to my video on a combination of operations on cubic radicals. Simplify each, so we're simplifying different operations on the cubic radicals. That's multiply, add, subtract, and divide, and combinations. Simplify each. You can pause your video and work each of these out if you want before I do them to see if you can handle it. Here we go. We cannot simplify the cube root of 5 or the cube root of 4 or the cube root of 10. So we'll do, when we simplify, we have to obey Pemdas, and it's the order of operations of parentheses or brackets or exponents, multiplication, division, left to right, addition, subtraction, left to right. So I have to multiply first before I subtract. When we multiply, again, we can either break the 4 down as 2 times 2, and the 10 is 2 times 5, and write that down, or we can go with a 40, either or. And if we go with a 40, the perfect square factor of 40 is an 8, so it's 8 times 5, so it's 8 cube root 5. Subtract the cube root of 8 is 2, and we cannot do the cube root of 5. Notice that both expressions are the same, cube root, and the same radicand, so we can subtract 8, subtract 2 is 6, cube root 5. And let's do number 2, simplify. So the cube root of 27, we can call it 3. The square root of 4, we can say 2. The cube root of 1 is 1. And the square root of 9 is 3. And they're simplified. Now we have to add fractions. The LCD for these two fractions is 6. So we multiply this one by 3 over 3. Multiply this one by 2 over 2. So that gives us 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 3 is 9. Add on. 3 times 2 is 6. 1 times 2 is 2. And that makes it, common denominator is 6. So we write it down. 9 plus 2 is 11. And 6 divided into 11 is 1 and 5 left over. So we can have 11 over 6 or 1 and 5/6 when you simplify. And again, Pemdas, and this one, we have a multiplication, addition, and a division. So we will multiply, we will divide, and then we'll add last. And when we simplify this, again, we have an 18, which is 9 times 2. And we have a 3. So that's a 3 times 3 times 2 times 3. So we can either, this time I'll do, that's the cube root of 3 times 3 times 2 times 3. And when we do division, we're not allowed to have a radical in the bottom denominator. So this is 4. The perfect cube that has a 4 in it is an 8, so I'll multiply by 2. So we'll simplify. This one is 12, and there's 3 3's here, so we take 1 out. Cube root, we need 3. Factor is the same. The 2 can't come out. And the cube root of 4 times the cube root of 2 is the cube root of 8, which is a perfect square, and that's 10 times the cube root of 2. And that simplifies to 36 cube root 2, and that's 10 cube root 2. Cube root of 8 is 2. So let's continue. 36 cube root 2, and 10 divided by 2 is 5. And both radicals are cube roots, and they both have the same radicand, so we can add. And 36 plus 5 is 41 cube root 2. And number 4, we have a whole lot. Let's see. we have to simplify inside first. So let's leave the cube root of 125 there, because we have to simplify inside the brackets first. Remember, PEMDAS is we got to do inside the brackets first. So inside the brackets, we have to do one of these two. So 2, the cube root of 8 is a 2. So notice the cube root of 8 is up as an exponent, so we write the 2. And 1/2 to the negative 3 means negative exponent, we do the reciprocal, so we make it a 3. And the negative of the half makes it the reciprocal of 2. So the inside is 2 squared is 4. 2 cubed makes it 8. And that's the cube root of 125 times. We have to simplify, keep going until we simplify the inside. The inside is simplified. So now we have the cube root of 125, which is 5. And 5 times 12 is 60. Completely simplified. Again, you have different operations on the cubics, so we take our time and obey PEMDAS. Again, PEMDAS. And we can also look at BEDMAS, BEDMAS. So different teachers, different textbooks use one of these two. And there are more, but I'll just use these two. Now we have the brackets. Cube root of 4 can't simplify, 3 can't simplify, 6, and 6, 2, and 4, none of them can simplify. So they're done. We have no powers or exponents. So now we have to multiply and divide. So we have a multiplication here. So we will multiply 3 root 4. Cube root of 4 times the cube root of 3 is the cube root of 12. Then we'll multiply the cube root of 4 by the cube root of 6. So that gives us the cube root of 24. When you're multiplying, the only condition you need when you're multiplying, you need the same roots. You can multiply a square root by square root, a cube root by cube root, etc. We can multiply other roots, but we're not ready to handle that yet. We have to do another topic on fractional exponents. And now we have to multiply these. So we got this multiplication done. We have to multiply this. So let's make this, that's a negative. So that's a plus a negative. So that makes it negative times a positive is a negative. Cube root. 6 times 2 is, I said 3 6s. Yep, okay. 6 times 2 is 12. I just went straight in. Negative times a negative is a positive. And the cube root of 6 times the cube root of 4 is the cube root of 24. Everything is simplified. We got the multiplication done. That one, then that one. Now, we can simplify each of these first. Make it better. So we have the cube root of 12. 12 is, can't simplify. So 12 has 2 times 6, which is 2 times 3, so we can't simplify. But we can simplify the cube root of 24. 24 is 8 times 3. And the 12 we can't simplify because it's a 2 2's. 12 is 2 times 2 times 3. We need 3 factors the same. And 24 is 8 times 2. So we have them simplified. So this is the cube root of 12. Cube root of 8 is 2, so that's 2 cube root 3. Cube root of 12 can't simplify. And the cube root of 8 is 2, and is the cube root of 3. Now we add like terms. So cube root of 12, subtract the cube root of 12, cancels out. And these are alike. 2 plus 2 is 4, cube root 3. And number 6, let's simplify this. We have to obey PEMDAS and PEMDAS. So can we simplify inside of these brackets? No, a cube root cannot add to a 2, so we leave that one alone. Can we simplify here? Yes. So we'll do the second bracket first because we have to simplify. And what can we add here? That's the cube root of 3, add on 4, cube root 3, they're like radicals, so 1 plus 4 makes 5, cube root 3, and 1 minus 6 is negative 5. So we have the inside the brackets done. Now we have any exponents? Yes, we have to do the exponent. So I'm going to expand this. So what I do when we square, I multiply it by itself. So expanding it out, make sure I'm going to do it right. So now we have to do the exponent is changed to two binomial products. So now we got a multiplication and a subtraction. So we have to multiply first. Okay, here we go. Cube root 3 times cube root of 3 is the cube root of 9. First, outside. Cube root of 3 times 2 is 2 cube root 3. Now we do, that's the first, outside, inside is 2 times cube root 3 is 2 cube root 3. 2 times 2 makes 4. So the multiplication is done. And now I'm going to subtract. So when you subtract, you make the 5 negative, and you make the 5 cube root 3 becomes negative 5 cube root 3, and a negative is a positive. Another way to handle that is to put a 1 here. We put a 1 right there. Negative 1 times 5 is negative. Negative 1 times negative 5 is positive. Another way to handle it, we put a 1. Adding on the opposite, the same as putting a 1 here and multiplying the binomial by negative 1. And now we look at the like terms. So we have a cube root of 9, no more cube root 9, so that stays like that. We have a cube root of 3, cube root of 3, cube root of 3, so that's 4 minus 5 is negative 1 cube root 3. 4 plus 5 makes 9, so it's fully simplified. And you cannot add the cube root of 9 to the cube root of 3 because they're not like terms. And a little extra practice on combination dealing with cube roots. And if you like my video, click the like button, click the subscribe button, click the notification bell. Visit my math website, www.mathfullyexplained.com, to find more information about me, my videos, and the content. And that's the content that's on my YouTube channel called Math Fully Explained. Thank you for viewing my video. Bye-bye.